How do you start your day? Morning routines are something of an obsession for me. I really have focused on how I start my day and the very first 3 hours of my day, especially. The morning routine begins the night before. And I make my coffee and I get the coffee maker all programmed to go because when I smell that delicious coffee scent in the morning, that's the only thing that will get me out of bed because I'm so comfortable and warm. So that's been my little thing. So I get out of bed and I swear by bulletproof coffee and bulletproof style coffee in that there's MCT oil, some fat source, and then your coffee, and it's mixed together. And the idea is that you are supporting your brain with oils and fatty acids and all the things that it needs to think and operate at the best way possible. So Dave Asprey and Bulletproof, if you go to bulletproofexec.com or bulletproof.com, you'll read all about Dave Asprey and the work that he's done in really popularizing that style of beverage. I have found a little hack on Amazon, of course, and it's called Fat Fuel, and it's these little packets, and I've tried so many brands of pre-made bulletproof style coffee, and I tried them, loved them, hated them, but this is the one I love, Fat Fuel, and they make this cocoa. They also make a matcha, which is wonderful for midday, but I start with the cocoa, and it's these packets, and I just add them to the coffee, and it's got everything I need in there, including Himalayan salt, which makes coffee so delicious. And so I get that going, and then while I'm enjoying my coffee, I start my little journal. So I just began using the Evo planner, and this one I picked up. I try planners all the time, but I picked this one up because it is the most funded planner in Kickstarter history, and some of the early advocates are folks like Jason Silva, who I know through Peter, and Lewis Howes of the School of Greatness. And so I'm going, okay, these guys we're in similar circles and similar conversations, and they're endorsing this. Let me give it a shot. What I love about the Evo planner is it starts out with an assessment, and you take a quick free online assessment, and it puts you into one of 4 brain types. I happen to be the architect, which means I love order and structure. And so the questions that are in, and the prompts that are in this planner are meant to evoke that, support that kind of brain. So that's how I start my day. I've got my coffee. And then usually by this point, my husband, Mike, and our dog, our 80-pound Rhodesian Ridgeback, Lily, they'll be up and about. And so we kind of get the morning going. And then Mike and I always have a coffee meeting, we call it. And it's really simple. We go through the day's calendar. Here are the calls I've got. Here are the meetings. I've got to be across town for this. Whatever needs to happen in the day, we kind of go over it. We talk about a couple big goals and things we want to accomplish during the day. And it's just the time. Sometimes, even though we both work at home all day, sometimes this is the only time we get to connect. So that's always a really cherished part of the morning. By then, I've finished my coffee and it's time for Pilates. I fell in love with Pilates in about 2012. Mike was deployed in Afghanistan, and this was a year where I was like, okay, I'm going to use this year to really figure out what kind of exercise I absolutely love. So as a former athlete, I played softball at the University of Pennsylvania, spent about a decade in that world of elite performance. And it occurred to me that every traditional exercise, running, even weightlifting, I associated with that time. And so it was almost like punishment. And I said to myself, I'm not playing softball anymore. I'm not doing this competitively. Like, working out doesn't have to hurt. It should feel fun, and I should feel really excited. So I started looking for all these different ways to work out that made me feel good. And Pilates was the thing that, for whatever reason, it's the perfect blend of strength, flexibility, balance, control, precision, breath work, all the things that I love. And so I noticed that after I would get out of a class, I would feel so good and so energized that it just lifted me up throughout the day. And so I used to spend a fortune getting to a Pilates studio all day, all the time. And it got really expensive. So I finally saved up for a while and purchased a tower reformer to have at my house. So now my home gym includes a Pilates reformer tower, and I use Pilates anytime. It's this amazing app. And I call up live workouts, or recorded workouts, I should say, anytime. And so I pick out a workout, do that. And then after Pilates, I have a fabulous shower. And for me, that's a recharging, restorative activity. A fabulous shower is not a quick shower. A fabulous shower is the perfect temperature. I'm using really nice, fun products that feel special. And I'm just going out of my way to make it a really ideal setting. And I find that when I have a fabulous shower, I emerge and I'm just like ready to tackle the day. So I've just taken you through 5:15 to about 7:30 to 8:30. Of course, depending on the day, depending on the conversation, that morning might get stretched out or not. But those things always happen. And I find that when I kind of tick off all those boxes, I start by journaling and nutrition and hydration and just keeping all those basics going. I connect with my husband, we get going on the, organized on the day. I find that setup, I can almost take on anything that comes at me throughout the day, anything. And I love it.